This is Duncan Fisher. You are listening to the A.C.E.S Junkyard Podcast live on 30.49 Comstar Radio.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Armored Combat Escalation Service Podcast, episode 20. Today is Monday, June 29th, 2015. I'm your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra, Kell, and with me today is Tirkron, our co-host. How's it going, Tirkron?
Oh, all right. Can't complain. I mean, end of June's here.
It's about time. We start heading into July, midsummer.
Yeah. That wonderful July 4th holiday for me.
I think you mean my birthday?
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually really honored that you guys, you
Cattra.
Americans, take time out of your day every year and celebrate my birthday. It just makes me feel special. I just want to say thank you to everyone. So lots of stuff to actually talk about this week, which should be fun. Do you want to just hop right into it, or?
Yeah, I mean, the only recaps that we have to do is, we're still in the Beer Warrior Brawl, which we had round 3 Friday night, which was pretty fun. Small hiccup in the middle of a match. We and our opponents both got bombed.
We got invaded by the French.
Yeah.
I think they were French.
They took French accents. Well, one actually started speaking somewhat in German if you listen to the recording, so I'm not thinking that they're actually French or German. I'm thinking they're just a bunch of idiots that jumped in and were trying to disguise who they were. So
yeah,
but
I still think we would have won if that didn't happen.
Yeah, and it was talked at the end of the round that we could have. Both teams were considering that we could have gone back and replayed that match, and it would have been completely acceptable to do because of it. It was a distraction for both teams. It happened to both teams. It wasn't one team over the other, and the referees did take note of it happening. So, but by that point,
I think we were just tired by that point.
Everyone was kind of tired.
We were going for about an hour straight, so yeah.
Yeah, one of our players had already gotten off for the night because he had to get up early in the morning. So it is what it is. We had some very good matches. We had some very close matches. Aces took the high road in one match where one of our opponents shut down in the middle of the match. We had eyes on him, target on him, and
he didn't really shut down. He disconnected.
Fire. Yeah, he disconnected. So, the mech was vulnerable. Let's put it that. He was in a very vulnerable position. It would have been completely acceptable to destroy him because, those are the breaks, but we took the moral high ground and didn't do that because, we're classy like that.
So. All those videos are up on, or all but one. The final one isn't up yet. Those will be available on my YouTube channel, I should say. It's a shared channel, kind of a shared channel, something like that. I don't know.
And so
it's the channel.
Yeah, and so we're talking about the next round when that's going to be scheduled. Rico's handling that. A number of us have.
I think you said what, Friday?
Potentially, I don't know for certain. I've already expressed that I'm not going to be around due to the holiday. Besides the Beer Warrior Brawl, MRBC is also going on, and I guess a number of people have forgotten that we're signed up for MRBC, and a number of people from A.C.E.S that had signed up to participate for the A.C.E.S team for MRBC forgot. And so last Saturday, when they should have been on to play the first round, they weren't there, and Rico was unable to get a hold of them, and that match is going to potentially be rescheduled for the 7th week of the competition. But I guess the next match is coming up potentially this weekend.
Okay.
Check the website, check the A.C.E.S forums for that information. I know I've already, as with Beer Warriors, I've already said I can't be there, so it's in the competitive lodge in the coffee house. So I encourage every member of A.C.E.S to check that out, especially if you have already signed up. You need to be there. If you can't be there, you need to let people know ahead of time so that that the people that are trying to organize this aren't scurrying around at the last minute. It's kind of important.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for this week.
It's going to be Friday night.
Yeah, I thought so. Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes. The large pepperoni pizza, if you would, which is the 2 Clan Mech Pack, which we finally had the pre-order. We learned about it during the town hall, but we finally had the pre-order page go up today, so we get to look at all those sexy variants and all of the fun stuff which comes with it. So, might as well just dive right into it. Do you want to begin with the Jenner 2C since it is the first mech?
We'll start with lightest, go to heaviest.
Alrighty. Basically Jenner 2C, I think it's pretty much I'm gonna call it now. New meta. It just completely invalidates the regular Jenner. Speculating, of course, but I think it's going to completely destroy the original Jenner. There's a couple of variants of note. The regular 2C has 6 missile hardpoints, 2 in each arms, 2 in the center torso. But when you combine, I mean, that usually isn't a big problem because limited tonnage, limited space, that sort of thing. The thing, though, is that it's using clan tech. So it's going to have the Pharaoh and Endo, and I believe it's going to have the clan missile systems, or at least it should.
Yes.
So as such, you're going to be saving tonnage there. Or not tonnage, you're going to be saving crit space and also tonnage as well. So it might actually invalidate basically like even the Oxide. A mech that though has a lot of missile hard points, its drawback is the fact that in order to utilize it properly, you got to have all your crit slots filled. Your crit slots take a lot. You got your ghost heat problem. Your weapons systems require a lot of tonnage to put on, like an SRM-6 for Inner Sphere is 3 tons?
Yes.
So it requires a lot of space, whereas I think an SRM-6 for Clan is 1.5?
Yes, it's...
yeah. So you're going to be able to just cram weapons on the 2C, and something that you can do. But the only drawback really to the 2C, from what I can see, or at least speculate, is going to be heat. And even then, you might be able to cram an extra heat sink or 2 somewhere. But I think most people would forego those for more ammo, since you're going to be running probably 6 Streak 2s or 6 Streak 4s or something like that. You never know.
I'm not as worried, actually, because the Jenner comes already with Clan Pharaoh, Clan Endo, Clan XL, Clan weapons. So there's not a lot of wiggle room to get extra weight savings. Unlike the Inner Sphere version, where you can switch in Endo and you can switch in Pharaoh and you can switch in an XL to gain, the weight needed to max out the weapon, to max out the armor. You don't have that with the Jenner. So there's going to be much more limited chances to save on tonnage to up certain values to make to take full advantage of all those weapon hard points. It's going to be a lot more difficult. Some people might strip out some of the jump jets because they do come with a number of jump jets. I believe the 2C has 7 that it starts with, so and the only one that doesn't have 7 is the 2C variant 2, which has 9 and up for and can hold a maximum of 10. So you can strip jump jets out to get some extra weight savings, but it's still only going to net you maybe a couple extra tons. It's not going to be the same weight savings that you get with the Inner Sphere. That said, the mech's still going to be dangerous. It's with the Clan XL there, you can't just rely on taking out a side torso like you can with the regular, the Inner Sphere Jenners. You're going to have to, take out a CT, or you're going to have to take out both torsos. That said, it's a Jenner. It has a huge CT because of the way it's, designed, the geometry of it. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be like the Oxide in that term. But overall, I don't think it's going to make or break the game. It's I do think though that it will probably surpass the other clan lights. You're probably going to see a lot more clan pilots taking the Jenner 2C over the Kit Fox, over the Mist Lynx. And that seems a little strange because the 2C variants are second lined mechs in the canon. They're, Omni mechs are supposed to be superior to them. So that, in this game, it could potentially be the opposite, where the 2Cs are favored above the Omnimex in certain conditions. It's kind of funny that the Jenner 2C has the potential for this game to be chosen over the clan light Omnimex. That's it's just great. I think it's hilarious that that's going to be the case, but it
Mm-hmm.
probably will be.
Yeah, I looked at the hard points and I was like, yeah, this is totally replacing my Jenna.
Hey Juju, how's it going?
Besides waking up, drooling a pool of saliva, not bad.
I also want to mention that Hell's Dog and EL joined us as well so far. Welcome to the podcast, guys. We're just kind of jumping into, for reference on where we are in the podcast, we're jumping into talking about the two clan MechPacks. So
Oh,
should
good
be
timing.
interesting.
I was just looking at those.
The other 2C mech pack, or not mech pack, Jesus, mech that is interesting as far as the Jenners go, is the JR7 2 clan number 2. And the thing that stood out to me for that one is that it has a max capability of 10 jump jets, as well as having hard points of 2 energy in an arm, 1 in the center torso, and of course AMS in the left torso, like they all have.
In the center torso is a missile hard one, not an energy.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, yeah. I basically see this one as something like my guess would be putting something like a 4 medium pulse. Probably not using that missile slot, cramming a couple jump jets in there, and putting on a lot of heat sinks. That's how I see that one being used. But I'm just curious because I think 10 jump jets, I think the only thing that comes close to that, or at least what we've seen even close to that as far as mechs go, I think the Spider has one that takes 12.
Yes,
Mhm.
but to do that, I don't think you make much else on it. So it's
Yeah. Let's see here. Spider 6, 6, 6, 8, and 12. Yeah, so I mean, this might be, especially if we got a lot of the tonnage saving, that sort of stuff that the other mechs have. You might actually be able to utilize a lot of jump jets on that single variant. Like I said, four medium pulse, or maybe 1 large and 2 medium pulse, or something. Something's gonna go in it, I think. But I just want to see how high you could get in with that 10 jump jets.
and hopefully
The other variants are interesting. I mean, the 2CA is the 3 energy in each arm, nothing in the torsos aside from AMS, which is the same as the Inner Sphere Jenner. I forget what one, not right offhand.
Yeah, Jenna F.
Yeah, and then the other one is 2 energy, 2 missile, 1 AMS. The energy being in the arms, 2 in the center torso. Again, I don't think the 2C3 or the 2CA are going to be used as much as, say, the 2C or even the 2C2, but I could be wrong. The 2C3 could be potentially used a lot more.
the way I see it, these Jenners, these 2C variants are all structured on existing Jenners. The 2C, the first variant of it, is structured on the Oxide with the all missiles, no energy. The 2C variant 2 with 2 energy in each arm and 1 missile is very similar to, I believe it's the K.
Yep.
The variant 3, which is 2 energy in each arm and 2 missile in the center, is very close to, is basically the Jenner D.
Sarah's
And
mech.
yeah, and the A variant is the 3 in each arm, which is the Jenner F. So they're all basically the same, existing Jenners. They're just got clan tech form, so they're going to be more rugged. They're going to pack a slightly bigger punch, but overall, they're almost the exact same Jenner, which, you know, isn't going to surprise too many people. You're just going to have to be more vigilant, and not dismiss them outright, as you do with some clan mechs like the Mistlings.
I'm curious to see how 6 ER mediums will work on the 2CA. Like the 6
Considering
small
it
pulse.
has 6
Oh
medium,
shit! I did.
six small
that,
pulse. I don't think it's going to be much of a difference overall.
Small pulse for the more of the knife fighter type, while you put the mediums for poking and just being a dick in general.
Yeah, the hunchbacks are going to be interesting. I kind of want to move on to the hunchbacks. I mean, the Jenner, whatever. It's going to be the best light mech. I'm calling it now. Best light mech in the game. Calling it. Hell's Dog, go ahead.
Well, as we're moving on to the hunchbacks, yeah, like you said, these are going to be the most interesting. They've got jump jets. I'm looking at that A variant. That
Wait, it
thing's
has
got
jump jets?
yeah, it's got jump jets, and it's
Or
also
jump
got
jets.
that A
Oh,
variant's got 3 energy in the left torso, 2 in the center, and then 3 in the right. That's like our laser hunchback, but with the laser split. I think it's going to be awesome.
And it's also high mounted, meaning rich peakers.
Yeah, pretty much is what it's going to come down to. I think the hunchback is going to be very. I know the Hunchback 2 clan is going to become one of my favorite mechs, even though it's going to be a high, or at least I'm speculating it's probably going to be high risk, high reward. Considering in order to, like, for example, in the regular Hunchback 2C, if you wanted to keep those Ultra 20s in there, I mean, you're not, unless you rip those jump jet outs or something like that, you're not going to have a lot of, well, first of all, you're not going to have a lot of ammo, because I think you only got 2 tons in there to begin with. And even then, you're also not going to have a whole lot of, armor. So you're going to be not able to do a whole lot. So I can see a lot of these people taking the armor off of the arms. First of all, that'll free up a bit of space. As well as you're probably going to see them take the jump jets out of them and try to cram in armor and also ammo. The other Hunchback I'm actually really interested in. I should also mention the variants and what they are. First of all, the Hunchback 2C standard engine is a 200 XL, 50 tons of course. Endo steel, heat sinks, 4 jump jets, and its hard points are 2 ballistic in each torso and 2 energy in the CT. Of course, you also have the Hunchback 2CA, which is an energy boat, which actually was surprising. It's kind of like the old swayback, except for it's spread out more. It's not all contained in the one pod. It's actually got 3 energy in the left torso, 2 energy in the center, and 3 in the right torso. It also has 4 jump jets. Now, this is a variant I'm going to keep an eye on as well, because I could see this becoming a WUB variant very easily, or even a something. I think people are going to make it interesting, and I'm excited to see how people are going to utilize it.
Yep.
Of course, we have the 2CB, which is a little bit like the. See, if I go down to Hunchbacks, gotta go back to Hunchbacks. It's kind of like the 4SP in a lot of ways. I think that's how people are going to probably play it. But you have 2 missiles in the left torso, 2 missiles in the right torso, and 2 missiles in the center torso, and of course, if
2 energy in the center. So
sorry, yes,
no
2.
missile.
Jesus, I can't read today. I apologize. And then finally, we have the early adopter 2CC, which is the oddest looking variant. It's going to be interesting, I think. But you got 1 energy in the left arm, 1 ballistic in the left torso, 2 energy in the center torso, 1 ballistic in the right torso, and 1 energy in the right arm. I don't see anything listed here, but I don't think any of these ones have head lasers as well.
No, there's no head laser in hunchbacks.
So there's that. But yeah, out of all the variants, I think, or out of all the mechs, at least, I think the Hunchback is going to be my go-to for some fun time. But what do you guys think there?
Well, as you said, this is going to be a risk reward mech. Most people, if you're looking at the page for them, you'll notice that 2 of the variants, the armor that they come with is only 192 standard. It's standard grade armor. It's not ferrofibrous. It's only 192, so it's a very weakly armored. It really can't carry a whole lot of armor with the heavy, weapon payload that it has. So unless you rip out the jump jets to add in, some extra ammo and to add in some, extra armor, you're going to be very vulnerable. You're going to get in a nice heavy punch, but considering you're only running at top speed 64 kph, yeah, you might be getting smacked for your audacity there. The other 2 variants have 256 points of standard armor, which I believe, if I remember correctly, might be the full amount of armor that this mech can actually take. I don't remember for certain because some of these variants, well, all of the variants beyond the 2C are almost entirely PGI's creation. They are not complete. They have some basis in lore, but not completely. So it's a little bit muddy on the armor points, but I believe 256 is close to the top amount of armor that this mech can carry, which 256 on a 50-ton mech, especially a hunchback, that's not a lot. So the fact that you are also still only running 64.8 kph with it, you're going to be vulnerable. Yeah, you're going to have that heavy punch, but if you're not, working well with the rest of your team, whoever you hit, if you don't put him down with that first salvo or that second salvo, they're probably going to punish you for it.
Fair reasoning.
Anyone else have thoughts on the Hunchback, or should we move on to the next one, which is the Orion?
I actually just theory crafted the 2CB, the SLM one. You can put quad 6s with Artemis on it, with 2 small pulse, more than enough ammo, 2 jump jets, and like 16 double heat sinks and an XL 275. I think that'll be fun.
That's also assuming, because I don't think we have a confirmation on how the build rules are going to work for the 2 clan mechs, though I could be mistaking.
Yeah, we might not be able to put ferrofibers and whatnot, but it's still gonna be fun.
No, you can. They've said that you can put the Pharaoh onto it.
Oh, then quad 6s with Artemis and 2 small pulse. Go go.
The problem is you may not have actual crit space, even though the clan versions are only 7 crit slots. You might be too close on the number of crit slots already, considering how many weapon systems are already in there. That's one of those things where you're going to have to be doing some actual, work trying to figure out what works for this mech. It could be like a number of the variants we already have. The mechs we already have, where you want to do one thing and you just don't have the crit space to do it. So you're going to have to make sacrifices in certain areas in order to get close to what you want. That's something we're going to have to see later on.
Yeah. It's gonna barely have enough crit space. It's gonna be interesting how we're gonna make these things work, but I can see the versatility in the builds. I'm probably gonna just do either buy just the Jenna pack or both the Jenna and the Hunchback. Who knows?
I've already bought.
Like
I've already
Jesus.
done it.
I'm waiting
He
for my
already
next
he already
paycheck.
invested. Hell's Dog's already invested. You heard it here, folks. Hell's Dog's all in.
Highlander all the way.
Buy gold, buy gold. Okay, the Orion 2C.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the Orion is really going to stack up. It's probably the most. I want to say. I don't want to say boring. The hard points are interesting, but I don't know how people are going to make it work. Comparative to all the other mechs in the 2C pack, I have a feeling that it might just not become a high performer like some of the others are. But yeah, let's get into it. The regular Orion 2C on the left arm has 1 energy and 1 missile. Left torso, 2 missile, 1 AMS. Right torso, 1 ballistic. And the right arm, 2 energy. Of course, no jump jets, no ECM, nothing fun. The 2CA for the Orion is 1 energy and 2 missile on the left arm. The left torso is 2 missiles and 1 AMS. And the right torso is 1 ballistic, with the right arm having 1 energy as well. The next one would be the 2CB, which is 2 energy and 1 missile on the left arm. The left torso having 1 missile and 1 AMS. The right torso having 1 ballistic, and the right arm having 2 energy. And finally, if you're an early adopter, which I believe the cutoff is the end of July, the 2CC, which is 1 energy, 1 missile in the left arm, 2 missiles, 1 AMS in the left torso, 2 ballistics in the right torso, and the right arm having 1 energy. So a whole mixture of stuff thrown in there. I mean, you can always kind of speculate, but I don't think I'm going to be touching the Orion 2C at all as far as mechs go. What about you guys? What are your thoughts?
The problem with the Orion is it's 75 tons, and the Timberwolf pretty much owns that spot. There's really no reason to not take it. If you can take a clan mech for a heavy, not to take the Timberwolf if you have the tonnage to have a 75 tonner. So I don't think people are going to be turning in their Timberwolves for Orions. It's funny because from a lore standpoint, the only clan that has the Orion in numbers are the Wolves, because the Orion was used by Kerensky, and so because Kerensky's name is a blood name for a clan wolf only, they produced the Orion 2C in honor of Kerensky, and they ruthlessly defend the production of it. They don't trade it to any other clans. They don't. They don't. They have never lost it to another clan in terms of production. The only ones seen outside the clan, outside of the wolves, are those that are taken as Azrola, which means they were won on the battlefield. They aren't even given out as gifts to other clans. So it's a mech that, from a canon standpoint, is in very short supply and is very much a totem mech for Clan Wolf. So it's going to be odd for any lore junkie to see a bunch of these running around. So the fact that we probably won't see a bunch of them running around outside of when they first get launched is all right. But overall, you're going to be unlike the other two, the Generator 2C and the Hunchback 2C. This one, you're going to be able to play around with a little bit more because it only has a standard engine, and two of the other variants have that XL. So you're going to have a little bit of weight that you can potentially, move around and gain extra for to, increase speed or increase weapons payload. It's But I stand by what I said earlier. I don't think it's really going to be worthwhile for those who already have a Timberwolf. They're going to probably stick with the Timberwolf. In serious play, in comp play, they're going to go with the Timberwolf over the Orion unless they're forced to do otherwise. CW people are probably going to go for the Timberwolf over the Orion. It's
And it's
Got
not even
it.
that
Yeah.
serious play as well. I can't see it being used too much in the pug queue as well, just because of how mixed up the hard points are and all over the place they are.
I can see a couple builds being thrown on there. The fact that you have the ballistic there, I can see because the arms and the torso ballistic are kind of both at the same height. I can see people putting on the dual ER PPC and Gauss rifle combo, or a dual large pulse and PPC and Gauss rifle combo and things of that nature. I don't really see this being a heavy missile boat, despite some of two of the variants having good at least three missile hard points. Uh, if anything, I think people are predominantly going to use this as a direct fire mech, going for extreme pinpoint damage. But overall, I stand by what I said earlier. I think people are going to stick to the Timberwolf. They'll take this out as a curiosity and to play with it when they first get it. But beyond that, I think it'll lose its flair pretty quickly, much like how the Orion is used right now for the inner sphere. That most people don't take the Orion. It's just not a mech that you consider.
Go ahead there, Juju.
Alright. Typhon pointed out many. I hope I pronounce your name right. I always pronounce it wrong. Yeah, Typhon pointed out a lot of valid points. It has a really mixed bag of hard points. The only one I can, as per usual, see myself using is probably the 2CA because it has 4 missile hard points. Probably put like, I don't know, quad 6s, Radimus, and an LB20 with 2 small pulse. That will probably hit hard and will be a whole bunch of fun. But unless you have a team built around brawling, it might be hard to even get in, smack some shit up, and then get out. Although the 2 PPC 1 DOS one, it might be more predominantly used on the 2CB just because you can put everything on the right side. But it seems a bit underwhelming, and not to mention the speed and lack of jump jets does not make it as effective.
Pretty much, yeah. If anything, I'm going to run all of these. It'll be the same build across them all because I'll be able to do it. But I'll just run these like I do my protector, which is 1 Gauss rifle or 1 AC-20, depends, and 2 large lasers in the arms. I mean, that's basically all you can really. We can do more with it, but I mean, that's probably going to be the most effective build out of all of it. The missiles are in very unopportune places. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could go and put like on one of them. I think you can put 4 SRM6s and 2 lasers of some sort. But I mean, you're missing out on a big ballistic slot. But yeah, I just don't see the Orion. And definitely just add on what Tearcon was saying. Yeah, I don't see this replacing anyone's competitive teardrop list at all. Because even again, or even in community warfare, again, if you're gonna take something and it's not the Timberwolf, I mean, there's so many better options right now in the game, in that tonnage range. I mean, I could take a Loki, I could take Summoner. I'd probably even put the Summoner above the Orion as it sits right now. So go ahead there again, Juju.
Okay, so I looked at the what's the variant? 2CB once again, with the one with the 4 energy, 2 missile and 1 ballistic. I didn't see that. Oh, one sec.
Well, I was looking actually at just the builds that they have listed here. The C variant that they've got listed actually has a decent build on it, kind of. 2 ER large lasers, 2 Ultra AC-10s, an LRM 15 and an SRM 4. Those 2 UAC 10s right there. That's a nasty punch, and to have that all on one side, it's going to be vulnerable, to getting taken off. But that until it does, that's going to be a very nasty surprise for anybody that encounters it. You strip off the LRM 15 and the SRM 4 for more ammo, more heat sinks, that thing could really, really wreck someone's day.
We can call Juju back in.
Alright, sorry I got interrupted by parents. So as I was saying before, the 2CB, I can actually say it be a pretty decent jack of all trades. Like, you know how the current meta is somewhat medium lasers and Gauss rifle, right? So what we can do with this is put 4 ER mediums, clan Gauss, and maybe 2 SRM6 with Artemis, or if you want to maintain that range, maybe 2 clan 10s with Artemis, 2 clan 15s. And it will be actually really good fire support, but the problem with that build is obviously it needs to show the entire mech. You can't really peek with it, but it would be interesting to see how the Orions are built. I can see imaginative people coming up with some interesting shit, while obviously those that have that only think about meta are gonna have trouble building this.
But yeah, I think we can all agree that the Orion is just unless they quirk it, which I don't, and I hope they don't, because I don't think because I mean, the quirk alone with these two clan mechs is the fact that they get clan tech. So I don't want to see, unless they're negative quirks, and I don't think PGI is going to do that. It's hard to say because I know that I think they mentioned in the town hall, which we're going to get to eventually, that they're going to redo all the quirks. They're having a new system or something brought in. I don't know. But let's move on to the Highlander 2C, which I'm actually somewhat excited to get my hands on. It's different, especially with, I think Paul made a post recently saying how they're going to, almost the day after our podcast, number 19 went live. Paul made a post. I don't want to say it was us, but I'm going to take credit because I'm just going to do it.
I'm not gonna say it was us, but will.
I'm not going to say it was us, but it was us. Had that long discussion about the jump jets, the Type 1 jump, or yeah, it was Type 1, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, class 1 jump.
Class 1 jump jets. So they're working on it. But yes, the Highlander 2C, we'll just go through the variants. The standard one is 2 missile in the left arm, 3 energy in the left torso, 1 missile in the right torso, 1 ballistic in the right arm. The 2CA is 1 missile in the left arm, 2 energy in the left torso, 2 missile and 1 AMS in the right torso, and 2 energy in the right arm. The 2CB is 2 missile in the left arm, left torso is 2 energy and 1 AMS, right torso is 2 missile, and right arm is 1 ballistic. And finally, the pre-order early adopter variant, which is the 2C, is left arm is 1 missile, left torso is 3 energy and 1 AMS, the right torso is 1 missile, and the right arm is 2 ballistic. The biggest thing I'm going to say for the Highlander 2C is that I'm going to guess that you're going to see a lot of left-weighted builds. Some people will probably use that right arm, but I see this more as people are going to put probably 3 large pulse in the left torso, or 2 large pulse in the torso, and then put some missiles on that left arm. That's how I'm seeing this one build out. I could be wrong. I mean, the 2CA, the one that has the energy on the right arm, with the not having a ballistic slot or anything like that, I could see that one being a more asymmetrical build, or a more symmetrical build, I should say.
Well, considering that the missile slots on that one aren't in the left arm, but instead the right torso,
yeah,
you'll
exactly.
see an opposite. That one's going to be a more right biased, whereas the first variant is going to be it could possibly be a more left-hand bias. I'm not too worried overall about the loadouts that people may come up with for the Highlander 2C. The thing that intrigues me the most about actually is, unlike all of the previous 2C mechs in the pack, the Highlander has the most opportunity for weight savings and for weight to be gained and to be better utilized. Uh, all but one of the variants have a standard engine. The only one with an Excel is the early adopter variant. Uh, Only two of them use endosteel. The other two use a standard internal structure. Only two use ferrofibrous. The others use standard armor. So there is potential in every single one of these variants of the Highlander 2C for people to gain the weight they need to make the changes that they want, whether it's upping the speed or upping the weapons payload. They really can't up the armor because 556 is the maximum amount of armor, at least in terms of cannon, that you can take for the Highlander 2C. It's supposed to top out at 14 tons of ferrofibrous armor is the maximum that it can take, which PGI has been very good about adhering to the canon in terms of how much armor a mech can take at maximum. So I don't think that's going to really change with the Highlander 2C. So it's not going to be the best armored assault mech, but in terms of weight savings, I can easily see this getting a nice big boost for its top speed, and I can see a boost going to its weapons loadout. So it could turn into a beast of an assault mech if played right and built right, with that weight savings potential.
Anyone else have any thoughts on the Highlander 2C?
We should ask Hell since he bought his.
Hells, what's your thoughts on the Highlander 2C since you bought one? You invested, you're all in.
I think he may be AFK.
Me? I'm all in.
He's all in. See?
I'm all in. I just
You
saw
heard
it.
Buy.
I looked at it. I just saw the look of it, and I was like, "That's mine."
You heard that, guys? Hell's Dog confirmed for shilling for PGI. This is your but yeah, no, the 2C. I think it's going to be interesting. Of course, they all drop in December, so we still got 6 months until we even get an idea of what.
That's actually one of the more interesting things for this pack, that all of these variants are going to be released on the same day.
Yes, 15th, I believe, December 15th.
Yep, as opposed to every other mech pack that PGI has ever done, where they space out when the mechs are released. Currently, their plans are to release all four of these mechs and their variants on December 15th if you order the package. If you don't order the package, that's when they get split up. The Jenner is currently supposed to be dropped for MC on January 19th. C-Bills on February 16th. Hunchback should come out for MC on February 2nd, March 1st for C-Bills. The Orion is February the 16th for MC, March 15th for C-Bills. The Highlander 2C is for March 1st for MC and April 5th for C-Bills. So when they do get released to the general public outside of the pack, they are going to be broken up, as most of these mechs usually are. But if you order the pack, you get them all ahead of schedule at the same time. That's getting them all at the same time is a major difference from what we're used to seeing with PGI. That said, this could end up changing. PGI does make changes to their releases from time to time. We know with the Resistance 2 pack that the Black Knight and the Mauler were switched on their releases. The Mauler being pushed forward, the Black Knight being pulled back due to the art teams and rendering teams wanting more time to work on the Black Knight, and the Mauler already being ready to go. So while we have these dates from PGI already, most people should be aware that these are not necessarily set in stone. PGI does have the right to change them and could potentially change them depending on what priorities occur and what workloads develop for other aspects of MWO that they develop in the next several months.
Change the release date on my Highlander.
Okay, make a note, Cattra. We have to contact Russ and Paul. They have to specifically delay the Highlander just so we can screw with Hells.
Okay,
It
I'm sending off an email right now.
doesn't matter
Okay.
if it's got no weapons slots at all. It's just a good-looking mech, and that's the only reason I'm buying it.
I do have to agree. FD always does some amazing art. I actually really like the head on the Highlander. How it's that kind of old school BattleTech one.
Yeah, it's the proper head.
The proper head. The proper
Yeah,
head, he says.
I will give them a lot of credit. Their concept art has been phenomenal, and once again, they knock it out of the park with these 2C mechs. None of these mechs look at all awkward. Some of the old TRO art looks kind of weird for some of these mechs. The Highlander 2C, if you look at some of the early art design for it, it looks weird. The left arm looks kind of spindly. The right arm looks like it's overgrown because of the giant Gauss rifle that's been strapped to it. Later art does take in to account some better aesthetic views, which I think is the later art is the current primary art for the Sarna page for the Highlander 2C. I don't think they have the old one up for viewing. I think you have to dig through the gallery to find it. But we're seeing from PGI once again they've taken visual cues from that old TRO art and they've put their own spin on it. They've done a absolutely bang out job with every one of these mechs, which is something we've come to expect from them at this point. That they are top, when it comes to doing their concept art, and when it comes to actually putting that concept art into 3D models for the game, they do a very, very good job of meeting expectations and making it look like what the concept art has shown. A couple, small hitches here and there on the road, but they usually, make the fixes that are necessary to them. So I'm overly pleased right now with PGI and their team of artists.
Give me a bigger picture, PGI, so I can put it on my wallpaper.
There actually is. There are larger pictures. You have to go. I think you have to go to their concept art page, and I think a couple people have already pulled off a couple of those pictures and have started putting up recolorings and renderings of them on Reddit and on another part of the forum. So you just have to go searching for them. Hells.
Awesome.
Well, let's move on to our next section of the podcast, which is Town Hall. We had a Town Hall last week, hosted by Russ, and got some information out of that. I think the biggest thing that came out of it was what we just previously talked about, which was the 2C stuff, but was there anything else in there that really caught your attention at all?
Community War Phase 3 was the big thing to start out with.
Yes, Phase 3, for those that don't know, should be soonish. I think they said October, or they're aiming for around October, I believe.
They're aiming for October.
And I think the biggest things that came out of that was a lot of changes on how mercenaries are going to operate and how loyalist factions are going to operate and how they can somewhat incentivize things like that. Oh no, did you pick anything out of?
They talked about how the scouting missions are going to potentially work. They also talked about the unit size that they want to incentivize having units that are between at most 50 to 100 players they don't want really units exceeding the 100 member range, or at least the 100 active pilot range, because we have seen with a number of large units that they can basically run a planet themselves. There's no they're guaranteed taking a planet because they've got all of their membership, or at least a large portion of their membership, all dropping at the same time. And PGI Russ did say that they want to make it a bit more fair, that there is a hard struggle over winning a planet, that one unit, be it mercenary or loyalist, can't do it by themselves. They have to coordinate with other units to do so. So there's talk of that. They talked about what the scouting missions are going to be like, of gathering intelligence and using it to help the larger invasion attacks. They also talked about potentially bringing in another uh, I match type, I guess would be the term for it, for CW, outside of invasion, defense, counterattack, and counterattack defense. So we're still waiting to get more details on what exactly that will entail. They did say that there's going to be benefits of dropship scans, radar sweeps, long tom artilleries that will be gained by the scouting missions that are done. So it's a lot to take in for CW. A lot of it is bare bones. We don't have all.
Just kind of going through the Q&A stuff here, or at least the outline of it on the Reddit that Zeech did.
They're going to be changing the way that Elo's done, right?
I believe so.
We lost Titan.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think there was a bit of a talk there about how Elo is going to be handled, that sort of stuff. I think it's going to go more of a different route. I don't know. I never really found a problem with Elo, but then again, I might probably have the really shitty Elo, so there's that as well.
Yeah, remember how it says it tries to balance it instead of match it? That's why you can have like, hey, let's put this guy with super high elo on one side and a bunch of potatoes with him as well.
Yeah. I think one of the things that are interesting is that they're still looking into the hit reg stuff.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll be a lot better for people. Mainly as well, the introduction. We talked about this last week as well, but the introduction of the oceanic servers and that sort of stuff to help balance things out. Welcome back there, Tierkron. So hopefully with a combination of new servers as well as this hit reg update, hopefully things will get to better for people. Still talking about the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My Asian body is ready for that hit reg update. My SRMs will make people bleed.
My SRMs already bleed.
Or make people bleed more than they should.
Oh. Big ones. Big stuff coming out of the I completely forgot about this. I just closed the window and then I just remembered it.
That's what she said.
More game modes coming for CW. Of course, we got the dropship modes coming for the private matches, which should be interesting, especially if they if a group or a league or something like that picks up that as an actual game type. And of course, the big one, PvE. They're aiming for 2016. They want to start with co-op and then single player. So again, exciting news. I'm actually really excited on how they're going to try to do that PvE stuff. I know. Again, I think we've talked about this before, and maybe we got a lot to talk about tonight, but maybe we can come back to this at maybe the next podcast or something like that. But I'm very interested on how they're going to handle the PvE stuff, so that's got me excited.
Yep.
Oh yeah, what was that about the new mech quirks? The rebalancing of mechs?
Oh yeah, we also mentioned a little bit earlier, they're completely redoing the MechWorks. I believe they're aiming for a public test on that stuff as well.
Yes.
So it's not just all behind. So hopefully some people that have had the ideas on how they wanted the mechs to be balanced, perhaps they can actually now voice their opinions. And hopefully PGI will take a look at those and consider it.
Resizing, they talked about that as well.
Yep. They did say that 4 of the 5 modeled mechs that are already in the game that need to be have some geometry resizing done to them are going to be done, which we had actually talked about in the last podcast because we had looked on the July roadmap and we had wondered what that meant, and we got a confirmation in the town hall that that 4 of these 5 mechs are going to be resized and have geometry shifts to them. Those being the Commando, the Dragon, the Awesome, and
Vindicator?
no,
Catapult.
no. Quit guessing. Either look at it.
Quick draw.
No, it's going to be the Awesome, Commando, Dragon, and Cicada. The Centurion is
Ooh.
also getting a minor change to its right arm, but that is it. The 5th one, according to Russ, is the Stalker, which they aren't sure what they're going to do yet in terms of its geometry and resizing. Though that, since you bring it up, yes, the quick draw should be put also on that list. That needs to get taken care of. Russ, if you're listening, Tina, if you're listening, quick draw, I would say, is a priority over the Stalker. Stalker's pretty okay, I think, where it sits currently. It's the quick draw that needs to be resized.
So my next talking point for stuff would have been the CW event, but we still don't know anything about it. All we know is that it's going to be running for a while. I think a week.
It starts on Tuesday, which
is tomorrow.
But depending on when you're listening to this, let's just
which
say
will probably
Tuesday
be tomorrow. So
30th.
today.
Yeah.
I live in the future.
Through the magic of radio today.
So it's going to run from Tuesday, June 30th to Tuesday, July 6th. We don't know a whole lot about it. There's been a notice put up in the MWO Mercs.com news post about it, that it's going to be a unit-based event where there will be a personal challenge to it, but there's also going to be a unit-based challenge to it. There's not a lot of clarification about what this will all entail. That was supposed to be put out sometime on Monday, considering it is almost 8 o'clock Eastern, and we're ahead of the Pacific Coast where PGI is located by a number of hours. That they have not put something out by now makes me question whether or not this is going to go off like they had initially planned and announced. This might get delayed a little bit. I don't know for certain. We have seen in the past when they've delayed things or extended things because they weren't ready for them on time. So this particular event, we're still up in the air about what's going to happen with it.
Again, it's hard to say because I don't think Russ actually sleeps. Because I see him tweeting at which would be the equivalent of 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning for them. So it could be one of those things that just comes later on in the evening.
You heard it here, folks. We've just confirmed Russ is not actually a human being. He's actually a clan true birth sent from the future to slowly indoctrinate us into the world of BattleTech that will actually come true in the future. So basically, prepare yourselves.
You heard it here first at the A.C.E.S podcast, your number one and most reliable source of all things BattleTech at MWO.
Yeah, forget No Guts, No Galaxy. They
It's-
haven't put
yeah.
out they haven't put out an episode in how long now? Yeah, forget them.
A while.
Listen to us.
Yeah, so we're now the number one source. I have number of. Let me just get the statistics here to prove that. So I actually have data and statistics here to prove that we are voted by all people in the world, all 6 trillion, that we are the number one BattleTech and MWO podcast. Confirmed.
Confirm.
Confirmed. I guess the next thing is really we have the devlog number 12, which talks a lot about the new River City Redux that we're getting, and it looks, again, like we said last podcast, we don't care if it gets pushed back a week or two. I don't think it is. I think it's still scheduled for the 7th, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Currently, it's still sitting at the 7th. So.
I think we've all said it before. We don't care if it gets pushed back, as long as it keeps looking as sexy as those previews keep making it look. It just looks absolutely gorgeous, and to hear about all the details and stuff like that they're putting into it. One of the things that did get mentioned, though, and I know a couple people on Reddit were asking about it because they didn't quite finish watching the devlog before making comments. Like, I mean, whoever does that? I mean, right? So, they want to make more things destructible and not just trees and lampposts. They said, I think anything smaller than a mech arm, they want to make destructible. And by that, I mean, hell yeah, it's time to step on cars and watch things explode.
Yep, they said that is in the works, that it won't be out for when this map comes out, but they are working on making, all other little objects and models in game destructible. So in some form or another, that they will be destructible. So don't worry, they're at work on it. It's just something that is going to take a little bit more time, which the fact that they're putting out what they are or planning to put out as soon as they can, what they do have, is phenomenal. And we've been saying that that they're not just doing one map, but they're getting ready to start work on a second one. They're going to start working on Forest Colony as soon as River City gets launched, and they've already got plans to start working on Alpine Peaks after Forest Colony, which that map probably needs some real love to it and attention, because it's pretty much one,
Definitely.
I
don't think
Alpine. It's more of the terrain itself. There's
I
only
was
one
going to say, I don't
strategy.
think Alpine needs a size adjustment. I think it needs a terrain adjustment and perhaps some more scenery, so it's not just a flat area,
Plane of
Arctic
existence.
snow.
Yeah, so it's they do have plans. They did say in the vlog that with the dynamic system of day and night cycle rotating through, they're also looking at potential weather cycles shifting back and forth. That the maps that have that we have River City and River City Night, this map of just River City is going to replace both of them. That it's going to have 4 quadrants, that when you launch on it, you could either be launching onto it when the cycle is at dawn, at morning, at afternoon, or at night. And that over the course of the 15 minutes of a match, the time of the cycle is compressed to what is basically a 6-hour cycle. So you will see, depending on when you launch in, the sun rise and set and move and shadows move. So it's a lot to do, and they specifically said putting it all into one map like this is actually going to be a little bit easier for them, because that way, if they have to make changes, they don't have to make changes to 2 maps. They only have to make changes to 1 map. And so eventually, when they'll probably do the same thing when they get to Frozen City, we'll probably see a full replacement for both Frozen City and Frozen City Night in the same sense, which I'm pretty sure most people are going to be okay with. It'll be interesting to see, if they include both the day-night cycle and a weather cycle on it at that point. Okay, so a couple other things that they're saying for that they said for the art pass and map changes for River City. We talked about how not all of the environment's going to be destructible. Like cars and vehicles aren't going to be yet. They did confirm though that the statues will be back and that you will be able to crush them. So
I will be able to get my revenge finally.
I'm actually curious to see how many old school players like myself and Cattra will, instead of fighting for the first 5 minutes of the match, find, hunt those statues down just to destroy them and see how many people from the other team, if we can call a truce to say, we must find the statues, we must crush them. They have given us too much headaches in the past, we must have our revenge.
It'll be fun. But yeah, I'm excited. A lot of good stuff. The 7th can't come fast enough to get my hands on that map and just play around and see what's new and look how pretty it looks. Because again, the amount of details that are going into that map just look phenomenal. And I think our final topic, again, is we had some new mastery bundles added to the gift shop slash market. Again, these, I don't buy these because I already pretty much own everything. But these are actually really good ways if there's a mech specifically you're looking to get into. They're a pretty good way to get everything you kind of need. I'm not sure how well, because I never had to buy one. I don't think I know anyone that's had to buy one.
You know me. I've purchased one in the past.
Oh, you have?
I purchased the Raven.
What's your thoughts on them?
I actually like the idea of these mastery bundles. I know last podcast I said that I'm not a fan of the champion mechs because I'm not the type of person that needs a champion mech. That said, I do like the mastery bundles if you have if it's up for a mech that you do not have any of, it is a very good starting point to get that mech. Because one, it includes 3 variants of the mech. You get the hero version, you get the champion version, and you get a standard variant. And for the most part, these packs they're decent all the way around. It's hit and miss sometimes with the hero and the champion, but you can easily switch loadouts around for them. The standard variant most of the time is something useful. So you also get things like premium time and a couple other little knick-knack things here, but overall the total value that you get for a pack is very, very good. And for the price that you pay, you're actually paying 50% less for the pack than if you tried to part it out whole. If you wanted to get all 3 mechs, all 3 mech bays, the 30 days active premium time that come with that pack, you'd be paying 50% more than what you actually are paying for the mastery bundle. So it's actually worth it if you don't have any of that mech and you don't have the C bills to buy them piecemeal, to consider buying a mastery bundle, especially if you are a new player and are just getting into you've already established yourself as a player, you know how the game works, you're a little tired of trial mechs, you've only purchased a couple mechs via C bills. If you're looking to make that next step, getting a mastery bundle is something that will really, really help you out. The only question at that point is which mastery bundle is right for you, and that comes down to personal preference as well as doing a little bit of homework on what mechs are good, what mechs are average, and what mechs you might want to avoid.
So they're kind of like for beginners, but even beginners have to do some research beforehand.
Yeah. But they're also for veteran players. Like as I said, I purchased a Raven bundle, and I actually talked about it on the podcast when I purchased it. That was back in fall last year. I purchased it because we were also talking at the time that I wanted to see more mastery bundles because there were a number of mechs that were lacking a mastery bundle at the time, even though they had both the hero and champion variant of them out, that they should have a mastery bundle. And PGI was kind of running a little late on getting those bundles out, but they're worthwhile if you don't have that mech at all and you're interested in picking it up. The four new ones that we're getting that are being put into the store are the Griffin, the Trebuchet, the Jaeger, and the Banshee, which, having looked at the details for all of them, they're all solid packs. You could argue, one way or the other on a couple of them, that this variant should have been included instead of this one. But for the most part, they're all decent enough that, anyone can pick up one of these packs and be guaranteed to have fun with it. Uh, for the details on the pack, I mean, Griffin, you're getting the Sparky, which, the Sparky as a hero mech is pretty decent for its size. It's an
How much
energy
MC
bow.
is the Griffin pack as well?
6,010. So
And you get what? The Sparky, which is 41.
yeah,
You get what? The 1N?
no, you get the Sparky, the 1S, which is the champion, and you get the 2N. So you're getting the standard mech that you get is actually one of the best Griffins
Yeah,
out
you
there.
get
It's
the
the
best. You get the
ECM.
one with ECM. You get basically the best Griffin, or in my opinion, one of the best Griffins. I think Juju might fight me with that one, but
3M best Griffin.
um, but yeah, no, for the value that you're getting, because you said about 6,000 MC.
Just over 6,000. It's
Yeah.
6,010.
So
They have
I'm
to
just
correct
gonna start rounding things downwards a little bit, I guess. So the Sparky's 4,000. 4,125. I'm going to say it's 4,000. The 1S is, if you get the champion version, it's 2,000, and then the 2N is another 2,000. So you're getting 8,000 MC worth of stuff for 4. So
On top of that, you get 30 days active premium time. So that's
yeah,
another.
as well, more on top of that. Yeah, so that's really isn't a bad deal at all.
Yeah. It's the Treb package. You're getting the Loup de Guerre, which is the hero. You're getting the champion, which is the 7M, and the standard is the 3C. That one I'm a little bit, a little unsure of because I don't have any trebuchets and I've never been very interested in the trebuchets.
I used to take. I know back early Aces. I used to take the trebuchet into comp, but I only ever took the 7K. I didn't take anything else, and I have Hell's Dog poking me here with tournament information. Oh hey, it's that thing we talked about that wasn't going to show up, but actually did end up showing up.
Oh, they put it all over on the tournaments page rather than actually put anything up on the news post.
I think they just added it to whatever, because I see Zeech just made a post literally seconds ago. So let's take a quick look here. It's going to be running from, as you said, the 30th to the 6th. Blah 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 blah. Looks like planetary conquest stuff, so should be interesting.
Yeah. Auto wins are excluded from point consideration. You need to get a match score of 80 in any CW match to get one event point. If you also achieve a victory, be it in invasion, counterattack, so long as your team wins, you also get another event point. So if you do at least 80 points, if you at least get a match score of 80 and also get a victory, you're guaranteed you're guaranteed 2 points. So that's pretty decent. Especially if your unit is taking planets, that's the one-ish. The unit challenge was the big one that they hadn't given details on of how many planets a unit should be able to take and what that gains them.
So yeah, I think we're all kind of giving this a quick
Yeah,
read, but yeah, should be fun.
It says about a unit winning, but it doesn't say what the reward is for a unit winning. It does say though that if you are a member of a winning unit, that you must have a minimum of 10 unit event. You must have a minimum of 10 event points in order to qualify for any rewards that your unit will receive in the Planetary Conquest Challenge. So, yeah, if you want to, if your unit is being active in CW and you are not, if you want to reap any of these rewards, you're going to have to get involved. Make sure to get with your unit if you're a member of A.C.E.S and you want to reap some of these rewards, which they don't tell us exactly what they are, which is a little surprising. Well, 10 event points get you a Spring Hula Girl standing cockpit item. Woohoo. Uh, but they don't say anything about what the units win by taking planets. So,
Man, I hope. I just want to put this out here. I have no idea what it is, but I want it to be a fucking special skin for your mech so that people know. People will know.
yeah, because everyone uses that, Centurion from the launch event that has the special skin. I see those out and about all the time.
I just want to say this right now. I've never seen that fucking skin at all. Period. I think I've seen it once.
I've played against, I would say, at least 4 or 5 people that have that skin. I have never, ever seen them in that mech, ever. And even this was even back, around, the few weeks after the event, when I was back in country and and playing again. I did not see anyone running around with it, and I know I came across at least 4 or 5 of the people in those 2 weeks following the launch event where they should have had it out and they did not. So I don't think anyone that's kind of been consigned to the attic or to the closet of most people's mech labs, I think.
That hanging item they've got there sounds pretty cool. With your tag, with your clan logo on it, or unit
Whoa, wait, what? Wait, what?
unit tag, unique unit tag. There's whatever result, there are boons to be had in the struggle. There's top ranking Innisphere and clan units will have the honor of receiving a hanging cockpit tag stamped with their unique unit tag.
Okay, so you get a cockpit item that says A.C.E.S on it, or you
Yes,
get
so.
if you're a member of another unit, you would get it with whatever your tag is that shows up on the player screen when you launch into a match.
I want it. I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Be
but
awesome.
No, I'm gonna call it now. Mercstar is gonna get one, and what's another big unit?
yeah, 228th will get one.
Yeah.
CI?
CI might. CI's been having a lot of issues lately, from what I've been led to believe. They are. I don't know what's going on exactly, but a number of their teams, their members are, I guess, not participating as much as they used to. Swall might get one. They are just because they have not been challenged lately. They've been cleaning up a lot for Clan Wolf against Pugs, so they're putting the numbers on. RRB might get one because they've been putting a lot of players on. There are a couple different units out there that are currently, putting players on and winning planets. Uh, but that said, because it's a special event, that can change a lot of things depending on, what units go into what faction and fight on what borders and do, who they match up against. It could change dramatically from what we currently see as the field to something completely different, much like we saw with the Battle of Tukiyid. The way units structured themselves and took up either side and what faction they fought for changed a number of different things. So
I want it.
I want it.
yeah, well,
End of story. We want it.
yeah, well, that means people have to get on and play. So you've got
So
a week.
I'm gonna say it right now. None of you guys have rights anymore. You now are full-time grinding in community warfare. So if you have any plans, cancel them. If you have any jobs, quit. You now belong to nothing but community warfare. So have fun.
I am so glad I'm not in this unit.
Well, I know. On Sunday, we did have a post go up about what our contract would be, because contract renewal for ACES comes up Thursday, Friday, and I say Thursday, Friday because it comes up at a time when the day is switching over depending on what time zone you're in. So uh, the problem with that is, and with this event, it doesn't say whether or not you're locked into a contract or if you can play both sides. Uh, we can't really change our contract before the start of the event because breaking a current contract activates a 72-hour cooldown now. So if we were to try to break our contract and change to another faction, we'd be out for the first 3 days of the event. So regardless of where we are currently, uh, we're going to end up missing 3 days of the event. So best to stay where we are, in my opinion. So uh, we might be staying Steiner for the entire event. It depends on what people decide towards the end of the week. Anyway, back to mastery bundles. We were talking about the trebuchets, and you were saying something, Cattra, about when you used to run them and being older.
Yes. Well, there's only one I would ever consider to be at least somewhat competition worthy, and even then it gets outshadowed now. But back when there wasn't such a big mech pool to select from, the Trebuchet 7K was always a interesting thing because everything's locked in that right and left torso.
It's also
but you would put on a
yeah,
it's got a ballistic. So I always used to put on a Gauss rifle or an AC-20, depending on rules and restrictions and that sort of thing. And either 2 medium lasers or a large laser in that right torso. And it always was a really good mech to take because you can actually compare to back in the day compared to the other mechs. This is like before Shadowhawk, before Griffin, before Wolverine. It was the fastest medium mech aside from, say, the Cicada. But it was definitely the fastest mech that you could put a ballistic into for a medium slot. So the 7K is a lot of fun, and I would recommend it. But yeah, trebuchets, actually, that's a mech I don't even see on the battlefield a whole lot anymore.
I see them occasionally, but as you said, they have pretty much been replaced by Shadowhawks and Griffins, and by really even those have been replaced in a large part by the Stormcrow. If you see mediums, there's almost always guaranteed to be a Stormcrow among them. So yeah, Trebs have kind of fallen to the wayside, but with this bundle out, maybe you could see a small resurgence in them. I don't know for certain, just because they do tend to get outshined by some of their other peers. Moving on to the Jaeger mech bundle, we have, of course, the Firebrand, which is the hero, good all-around mech. You have the Champion, which is the Jaeger mech A, and the standard mech that's included for the Jaeger mechs is the Jaeger mech S. So not bad overall. I know, and I've seen a number of people say that the S should not be in there, that it should be the double D instead, because that's the chainsaw build with the 3 UAC 5s. But overall, I think it's a decent package that if you don't have any Jaeger mechs, picking up this bundle, nets you those 3, and they'll easily get you ready for picking up a Jaeger mech double D later on, and having fun with it as well. So overall, I think that's a good, well-rounded package for anyone that's interested in Jaeger mechs.
Surprisingly enough, I never liked the Jaeger mech.
The Jaeger mech's always been an interesting mech, but yeah. So masteries, yeah, I can see where they're useful. Again, just something more of them added to the game. Nothing really big changing there. So I think with that, we'll wrap it up.
Well, we still have the final one, the Banshee.
What do we got?
We have the Banshee Mastery bundles also getting put out, which
Oh,
Okay.
Scheiße.
yeah, which is the Hero Mech, which is the Llama Linke. You get the Champion, which is the 3M, and then you get as your standard mech in the pack the Banshee 3E. Overall, this is probably the best of the four being put out. The second best, I
How
would say, is the
much
Griffin.
MC is it?
It is 9,185 MC. That's yeah, if you were to buy this piecemeal to get the mech bays, the 3 mechs, and 30 days premium time, it would cost you 18,370 MC. So that's a decent price to be paying instead of that higher price. And for what you get, I mean, the 3M is the Wubshi. I mean
Teehee.
that thing carries pulse lasers like no other Intersphere assault mech. It is better than the Boar's Head, I would say, in terms of pulse laser builds.
And it can reach peak.
Yeah. The 3E is the one that you usually see that has the 3 AC5, 2 large lasers, or 2 PPCs. It was probably the mech variant of the Banshee that made people interested in the Banshee. It is phenomenally good once you tweak it. It starts out substandard. Once you get endo steel on it and tweak the build of it, it turns into a real monster of a mech. It is phenomenal in that regard. The point of contention that most people have is the La Malinke, the hero mech. The La Malinke is one of the hero mechs in game that people look at and they aren't sure, if they like it or they hate it. Those and the people that do have a solid opinion pretty much are split down the center. They either like it or they hate it. There's really no one in between. Uh, once you've kind of made up your mind on it, uh, it's a decent hero, but yeah, it seems undergunned for what it is, and there's not as much room to build a variety of strong builds on it. It's pretty locked into what it can do, and it's kind of substandard in that regard. Though it is a still fun mech in my opinion.
I think the main crux of the Lavalanche is that it has arm-mounted weapons Y instead of torso-mounted, which in the Banshee are high-mounted, and also you can use the arms completely as shields because of how huge they are. And the large pulse being in the arms is a bit, okay, kind of thing.
Yeah. I know there are some people that have said they would have liked to see the 3S Banshee included in the pack. I'm kind of, not certain on that. 3S is a decent mech, but it has some issues to it. Uh, it's one of those Banshees. I don't see it out a lot. You either see the 3M or you see the 3E. The 3S kind of gets forgotten alongside the Llama Linke. So the fact that they need to include a hero mech, a champion, and a standard, I'm more than happy to say that they included the 3E over the 3S because the 3E is probably the best Banshee of all of the four variants that are out, with the 3M being the second runner up to it, or I should say the runner up, not the second runner up. So Banshee 3E top, 3M nice second place, 3S and La Malinke, that's probably personal preference of who takes third.
Mm-hmm. The main problem with the 3S is that it doesn't have any heat gen perks, which means that PGI was so heavily fearing that it would take over the 3M, but it won't. It honestly won't. It really does need heat gen quirks though. It really does. And maybe ballistic velocity of 10% so I can actually mount an AC-20 on the thing.
So, overall though, we got 4 mastery bundles. I'd say the Banshee's the best one of the 4. Griffin's a good, solid second place. Jaeger Mech, also a good one. The Trebuchet, I don't really know what to say about the Trebuchet just because I don't run them. I've never really been interested in them. But if you're interested in any of these mechs, you don't have any of them. These packs are, these bundles are a great way to pick them up if you've got the MC lying about, or if you've got, a few bucks that you can, invest into MC. It's a nice, easy way to pick these mechs up and get some premium time with them, along with the mech bays. So it's a good. I prefer these bundles, as I said earlier, over the champion mechs. I'm not a fan of champions, but bundles I am a fan of.
I feel like the bundles was a very good move on PGI's part.
So I think that takes care of everything we have to say for this podcast, Cattra, unless you can think of
No,
anything
I don't got
else.
anything special or hidden.
So
That I can think of anyways. So I guess until next time, Mech Warriors.
yep.
Potato salad.